Hello and welcome everyone. Uh, I'm not sure if you guys can hear me or see me well. So let's start off with the chat box by you typing in yes if you can hear me and see me well. Just type a yes for whoever is present right now. Here, just type a yes if you can, please. Okay. All right. So we'll allow some time for people to join in. Okay, let me just check how many are here. Give me just one moment. All right. Okay, so welcome everyone, and I'm sure you're pretty serious about your IELTS preparation because you're biding your time on a Sunday evening at 7. I mean, that's the time when everyone wants to be out and not attending some IELTS session for that matter. And if you are attending, that's absolutely amazing because that only goes to show how serious you are about your study abroad aspirations. So I appreciate whoever has joined, and thank you for joining in. So today's session is all about IELTS. All right. So don't go by specific titles. If you want to ask me any questions with regard to your IELTS preparations, I'm here to answer those questions. So we will make this session as interactive as possible because I'm here to answer those questions for you. So I can talk about anything for that matter, right? But that may or may not be something that you are looking for. So what I would rather like is you asking questions and me answering those questions, and that could be anything under the sun about IELTS. So I repeat, anything under the sun, but about IELTS. So I'll be more than happy if I get more and more questions. So that will help all of you who are attending, in your preparation. So a little bit about me to begin with. My name is Ilyas Khan. I head the test preparation team at iSchool Connect. What we are doing today is we are on a mission to help people in their test preparation, because many a times what happens is, even on YouTube for that matter, you have loads of information available. So even when you do a Google search or anything like that, you know people just go ahead and type IELTS and you will get a million options there, but there's no streamlining of information. There's no step-by-step guide to doing things. Anything and everything has a million answers to it and you don't know which one to go by. So that's what we are here for today. Okay, so I just got a question from Shreya. She says, what study material do you recommend for IELTS preparation? Now, this is a very subjective question because there is no one study material available on the market. If you're looking for free resources, there are many. There are many things, but we also have a lot of material. If you can visit ischoolprep.com, I'll just type it here for people to just have a look. That's our website, ischoolprep.com, and we have a lot of material on the website. Also, there are a lot of blogs, a lot of information available which you can refer to streamline your process. And when you're referring to any material, make sure that it is something that you can rely on. There's tons of information available on the internet, but don't go by all, because there are some people who do a couple of workshops and they call themselves IELTS trainers. I'll be honest with you, that happens in the market. Now, I'm not saying that they are there to cheat you, but they don't have that experience and expertise to be able to help you the way you should be helped. That's the major concern. So they may think they're right, but little do they realize that they are not holding that kind of an expertise and experience to be able to help someone, because in IELTS it comes to individual needs. So if there are five people sitting in a class, not all five people will be having the same level of knowledge and expertise in order to cope up with the IELTS test. Someone may be here, someone may be here, someone may be there, and so on. So the levels will fluctuate. So this should be extremely personalized when it comes to IELTS training. Yes, the questions, the format of the test, the four skills that you're tested on always remains the same. But it's not the same when it comes to learning. So I've got another question. How many attempts can be given for IELTS? Well, the answer is as many as you want. But would you want to do that? The point is, you really want to clear your IELTS test in the first go. So many a times what happens is, well, I've answered the question already, but I'll tell you why I would want you to approach it in a particular manner. All right. So attempts can be numerous. IELTS does not stop you. IDP will, and British Council will not stop you from having as many number of attempts as you would wish, as you would like. But that shouldn't be the case, because the problem will be you will be paying $16,250 every time. Would you want to do that? No, you just want to do it once and get it done with. Sneha asks another question: when and how the exam results are obtained? Okay, so there are two ways that you can attempt the exam: the pen and paper based method, and the computer based method. The computer based method releases the results much quicker, in about within a week. See, they say about 3 to 4 days, 5 days. So the results come in, they give you the date in which the results will come in. They will send you an email on what your result is, and you can also, when you sign up for your IELTS test in India, it's IDP now. So when you sign up, you will get a login credential. You get your login credentials rather, and when you log into your IDP credentials account, you will be able to see the result there, and you get an email that so and so date will be the date when the results will be declared. And normally for the pen and paper method, it's about 12 to 13 days in which you get your results. They already announced that on the test day. And for your online test, for your computer delivered test, it's within a week, as fast as within a week. Hi Purva, welcome. Purva is asking what is IELTS fee and which countries accept IELTS score. So Purva, IELTS fee is 16,250 that I just mentioned just a minute ago. And when you talk about what countries, majorly almost all countries accept IELTS. There was one thing where in the US IELTS was not really much sought after. TOEFL was accepted more, but now even universities in the US are accepting IELTS score. So IELTS is the most widely accepted English proficiency test worldwide. It's as simple as that. But when you're talking about a particular university, let's say you want to go to the US and you've shortlisted a couple of universities or institutions that you want to study at, it is best to actually check with the institution itself whether they accept IELTS or TOEFL specifically, or they say, IELTS or TOEFL, anything is fine. If you're doing IELTS, get us a minimum band score of this so and so, and if you're doing TOEFL, get us a score of so and so. So it's better to confirm with the university that you're applying at. That's the best way to confirm, rather than asking anyone else, because they are the entities who will accept or reject your application. That's why. So what books and study plan you recommend? See, when it comes to study plan, I have personalized study plans and I have one-on-one items as well. I cannot talk about others, what they offer, because I don't know what other people offer. There's tons of offerings on the market, as I said, but we offer personalized study plans as well. We have a group class way of doing things. We have a one-on-one of doing things where a trainer will be sitting one-on-one with you. And another thing is self-study plans as well, where we have a module designed for you. If you're someone who does not like to sit with someone else and study, but you like to do it on your own, we have that too. And as I typed earlier, you just go to ischoolprep.com and you will see all the offerings that we have in place. What books? Well, there are official IELTS books, but if you take one of our courses as well, you will not need any other book. So whenever you're following something, follow one thing at a time. Don't you know go ahead with multiple sources and say, because each one will have a different way of explaining things, right? Shreya asks, how much is the fee? How much is the fee for what, Shreya? You're talking about sitting the IELTS exam, or you're talking about the fee for iSchool prep courses? Can you just elaborate a little more on that, please? I'll be able to answer both. So I believe I'll answer both. The fee for IELTS is 16,250, 16,250. That will be charged by IDP. And if you're talking about our fees, well, our plans start as low as 999 rupees. That's about it. 999. And I believe I've answered that question already. How many attempts can be, how many times can you attempt it? Well, unlimited times. There is no upper limit on the number of times that you can sit the IELTS test, actually. But don't look for that. Just try to crack it in one go, and I think that will be the best thing to do, because every time you do it, your morale is shaken if you don't score the required band. And the second thing that will happen, which will not be a very pleasant thing, would be 16,250 rupees every time, right? So which IELTS is right for me? IELTS academic or IELTS general? All right, I'll come to this one. This is an interesting question that I get the most. Allow me to have a sip of water, please. All right, so you need to see what is the reason for you to take the IELTS test, right? So the most common reasons are either you are planning to study abroad, all right, or you're planning to move abroad, which is probably immigration ways of doing things, or at times you're even posted abroad on a job. So your company is sending you maybe for a stipulated time, maybe I don't know for how long or whatever the reasons, but you're going there for work purposes. These are the three major reasons why someone would sit for an IELTS test. Now, IELTS academic, as the name suggests, is for academic purposes, which means if you are looking forward to studying abroad, you will be taking the IELTS academic test. Okay? And if you are going the other way, which is for immigration or for work purposes, that's when you will take the IELTS general test. There's not much of a difference between the two when it comes to the actual test, the within the test details, but there is a slight difference, which I'll come to it after answering a question from Sonia. Sonia says, what if I cannot complete my IELTS paper in time? Well, you will only be marked for whatever you've written. Okay, and that will not be a very good thing. But what can you do to avoid this is what I can help you with, right? So there's a simple answer to this. If you don't complete your paper in time, you will only be marked for whatever you've written, as much as you've written. Whatever you've left out, you've left out. There's nothing you can do, just like any other exam. But if you know the pattern of the test in detail, so you know that, okay, there is listening, reading, writing, speaking. In listening, you need to multitask. You need to listen to the audio and write the answers at the same time. The good part about that is you don't need to keep a tab of time because you're concentrating on the audio. And when you are doing that, well, for as long as it takes for that audio to complete, that will be the time. So you don't, time is not your enemy when it comes to listening. Time is again not your enemy when it comes to speaking, because you will be asked questions by the examiner. You will answer the questions, right? When is time an enemy? When you are attempting the reading section and the writing section. Because in the writing section, you have two tasks. Of course, task one and task two. You are given 1 hour to complete both the tasks. So time is your enemy. That's when you need to keep a tab of time. And even in the reading section, time is your enemy because you need to answer 40 questions. That'll be divided into three passages. It'll be 13 to 14 questions each passage. And you need to keep a tab of time. You need to keep a tab of time no matter what. Because if you are on question number 30 at the end of 1 hour, well, you're losing 10 marks straightforward. That's not going to be a pleasant thing. So you need to manage your time well. While you're studying for it, you know how much time you should allot to each question type. There is a way to actually approach each question type. There is a strategy in place. Okay, so if this is a question, I can do it in this manner. If that is a question, this should be the question I should be attempting first, that should be the question I should be attempting later, and so on and so forth. So there are many things that you need to look at and do things accordingly. So don't worry about if you cannot complete the paper in time. Worry about what should I do that I do not face the scenario of not being able to complete the paper on time. Think it the other way. Okay, so which IELTS is right for me, academic and general? I already said that. But what is the difference between the two? Or what are the differences rather? So when it comes to speaking and listening, it's exactly the same. There's no difference. Okay, so whether you're taking the academic or general, you'll be sitting in the same hall. If let's say you are doing the pen and paper method, the same paper will be given to you uh, for listening, and there'll be no difference. Speaking obviously happens individually, so you will be walking into a room and you will be talking to an IELTS examiner, and you'll be answering their questions. But it's exactly the same for academic and general. The difference lies in writing and reading. So let's start with reading. In reading, the difference is in the quality of the passage. So as I said, IELTS academic, the passages, the three passages that you will look at to answer the questions on, will be of an academic nature. All right, so it could be some study, it could be something to do with an academic style of writing. Okay, and in IELTS general, it'll be a generic passage. It could be anything. It could be a newspaper article, a magazine article, something like that. All right, so that's the difference. The types of questions will be the same, the style of the paper will exactly be the same. It's actually the text, the passage itself, which will be different. Okay, so there's no difference as such when it comes to you studying for it, but there will be a difference in terms of the style of passages that you are used to reading. So if you're attempting practice questions for IELTS general, you might find the academic style of passage a little difficult. Maybe I'm not saying you will, you might, may or may not. Okay, but it's not that big a concern. If you know all the question types that are going to be asked, you know how to approach the test, you know how to attempt it, you will have the strategies in place. You don't really need to worry about that side of things. When it comes to writing, task 1 and task 2, if you remember, I said that a while ago. So task 1 is different, task 2 is exactly the same. There will be an essay. Okay, and the essay is exactly the same. So the question that comes to someone who's attempting IELTS general sitting beside you, and if you are attempting IELTS academic, it's exactly the same question. Okay, the difference is in task 1. So for general, IELTS general task 1, you are asked to write a letter. It could be a formal or an informal letter. Okay, so formal and informal letter, there are only two types of these letters. And when it comes to, that's IELTS general. And in IELTS academic, you will be asked to write a report, meaning there will be a diagram. It could be a pie chart, it could be a bar graph, even a map in some scenarios. Okay, some sort of a visual representation. And what you need to do is you need to elaborate on that, on the key features, on what you see, and you will be able to see the diagram and write what information you can gauge from the diagram. So in other words, if I am looking at your report, the task 1 response, I need to be able to figure out what you've written looking at the diagram. So I'm looking at the diagram and I'm looking at your report. I should be able to see that you're making sense in what you've written. You're explaining it well or not. That's what it should be. All right, so that is how it should be. Now, there are many worries when it comes to the IELTS test. All right, so people start worrying about things that they don't need to worry about. For example, a question that came multiple times to me was, how many times can you take the IELTS test? Okay, fine, good to know information, but why are we even thinking in that direction? Why are we even going in that direction? Right? So you don't really need to think about it. So another question has popped up: is IELTS necessary for IG and IB board students also? I will say at times yes and no. Why? Again, Some universities, they say, oh, you are in an IB board, and there is a certain English subject and certain codes that you study English under. If you're taking that, you are not required to attempt your IELTS test. So again, the best person, or the best ones to answer this question are the people at the institution that you're applying at. Okay, so many a times what happens is, when you want to study abroad, you don't have just one university in your mind. Yes, you do have that one dream university. Oh, I would like to study at Harvard, or I would like to study at one of the Ivy League colleges, or institutions. That's fine. But what you do generally, the way it's done, is you actually have a list of colleges or institutions that you want to apply at. What if this is the dream one, but you do have number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5 as options available? So it's always best to talk to each university individually and see what they accept. So for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are the colleges that you want to go at, right? Want to apply at. Number 1 being the first priority, number 5 being the last priority. But out of these 5, you would like to study in one of these. Okay. Now, what will happen is, there might be a couple of colleges. Let's take an example of US. There might be a couple of colleges who say we take only TOEFL. There might be a couple of colleges that say we take IELTS or TOEFL. There might be one college that says we take only IELTS. So if you know these 5, 3 are accepting IELTS and 2 are accepting TOEFL, what would be the right direction to go into? The right thing to do would be to go in the direction where you do one test, you sit for one test, and you have maximum output, which means IELTS in this scenario, because you're getting to apply at 3 colleges. If you take TOEFL, you're getting to apply at 2 colleges. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. If you have 10 shortlisted colleges and 6 of them actually ask you for IELTS is acceptable, and 4 are saying either IELTS or TOEFL, that means if you take IELTS, you can apply at all 10 colleges. 6 are asking for IELTS specifically, and 4 are asking for either IELTS or TOEFL. They're fine with any. So you need to think in that direction. You need to think that way. See what's the smarter way of doing things. Okay, and don't worry about things you don't need to worry about. Actually, like, oh my God, can I take the test 10 times? Why are you even wanting to go there? There's no need, right? There's no need. Okay, go ahead and ask me questions, guys. There were loads of questions and I was happy to answer them. But if there are any more questions, I'll be more than happy to answer. Go ahead. Anyone saying anything? Is anyone typing anything? Go ahead. I'll be more than happy, guys. That's what I'm here for today. Average preparation duration for IELTS, Prakhar. Okay, yes. Again, to each his own. Ideally, if you leave everything aside and you want to prepare specifically for IELTS and you have decent level of English, when you speak, you write, whatever, you read, you have a decent level, then I think 1.5 months is more than enough. Provided you are concentrating completely on it and you are saying, okay, I'm going to leave everything aside. I'm going to only concentrate on IELTS for this 1 month, 1.5 months, maybe 30 to 40 days. Yeah. And say, I'm going to do nothing else. I'll just get this out of the way. There is a 2-year validity period, which means from the day you get your results, not from the day you've attempted it, right? From the day you get your result, 2 years in the future, that score will be valid. So you don't really need to. Prakhar, does IDP give any discount on the exam for IELTS? Well, I'll have to. Well, your smiley says it all, that you know the answer. Well, I have not heard of IDP giving any discounts ever. Well, maybe they do, but I'm not really sure they do. I've never heard of any discounts being offered by IDP or British Council back in the day when they used to offer their tests. But I'll tell you, you can give yourself the best discount by choosing the right people that you want to study with. Because many a times what happens is people end up following the wrong people for advice or for studies, Prakhar. And what happens is they end up spending 10, 20, 30, 40,000 rupees, and then they land up with the right people at the right person's door. And then they say, oh, I don't want to pay so much because I've already spent 30,000. Now, unfortunate but true, this happens at times, and it's not a very pleasant sight for people. I know it, but I'll tell you what. If you are here already, you're most welcome, Prakhar. If you are here already, and if you feel that I'm answering your questions in the right way, and you feel that I'm an expert, which I am because I have over 2 decades of experience doing this, all right, you are in the right place. So just go ahead and inquire with us, and we'll tell you how to do it. You don't need to pay anything in advance before all your questions are answered. Be content that, oh, okay, this is what I was looking for and this is what they have on offer. If you feel we don't have that on offer, go ahead and choose your path. There's nobody forcing anybody here. But the point is, I will have answers to all the questions that you will have. And I know that for sure because you certainly are not the first one, and absolutely certain that you will not be a last one as well for me. So I keep doing this. I have been doing this, been there, done that, been doing it for years. I think you're in the right hands. Please inquire. All right. So if does anyone have any more questions? If not, I pretty much covered the basic fundamentals of what you should be knowing, for basic knowledge. But if you have any more questions, I'll give it another minute. And if I'm not seeing any questions in the chat box, then we can probably end the session here. So let me know. Any questions? One more minute. I'll wait. Sonia, I appreciate your appreciation as well. Thank you. I'm happy that you appreciate it. And I'll just wait for another 30 seconds for others to ask any questions if they have any. And if not, then we will end the session. Okay, I don't see any questions popping up. So it was wonderful connecting with you guys, and thank you for asking me so many questions. There were quite a few questions for the number of people who attended, so that's really good. And I'll see you again in another live session. We'll be doing these regularly, and as time goes by, people will get to know more and more about what IELTS is all about, and even test prep in general. We'll cover other tests as well. And for now, I really appreciate you guys taking the time out on a Sunday evening, as I said earlier, and joining us. That just goes to show how serious you are. So thank you very much for joining. I'll see you again in the next session when we hold it on. Thank you.